Opportunities are endless. Opportunity abounds, and people are absolutely amazing. And as you start being your more authentic version of yourself, as you start kind of plucking out these thorns that are preventing you, well, they're holding you in discomfort. Welcome to the Conscious Investor. Let's get started. I'm going to share a story of friendship. And you know what? What is this going to mean for you? Well, I told you in the last podcast mindset episode, that was just me. I told you a lot of times people are uncomfortable. They're not quite sure how to start conversations or how to reach out to somebody. And I believe that this is going to encourage and support you in taking that next step in really reaching and impacting the world around you. It all starts like this. It starts actually even before this. It starts when I was on Michael Blanc's podcast. And it was really funny because he and I were recording the episode. And at the end, he asks, like most podcast hosts do, Julie, what's the best way for people to reach you? And I said, well, actually, and I gave out my phone number. And when we stopped recording, he gave me a funny look. He's like, wow. That's let me know how that goes. You do realize how many people listen to this podcast. And I said, I know, but I think it's going to be okay. And the reason I felt like it was okay is because I've listened to a lot of podcasts with people who are extraordinarily established, right? Kind of the elite. And I've heard them give out their phone number. A couple of times I've actually called those people and it was magical. And I thought, that's who I want to be. I want to be that person. And because I was that person, one of the listeners caught it and caught the 208. Oh, wait, that's Idaho. And realized that we were both in North Idaho. Next thing you know, I get this call, a message. I think it was a message. I get a message from this person. And she's like, explaining this whole I heard you on the podcast. I can't believe this. And we ended up having a little, communication. She's flipping a house up here in Bonners Ferry. And I just thought, oh my goodness, this is absolutely amazing. And I happened to be headed down to Coeur d'Alene because the Conscious Investor Growth Day event is going to be taking place on March 18th. So I was going down there to meet my partner, John, and the event organizer at the resort and to take care of loose ends there, right? And in that process, I realized I'm going to be down in Coeur d'Alene. I should reach out to her and I should see if maybe she wants to grab coffee. And at the same time, I realized, wow, well, I met this other person on social media recently, and he's down in Coeur d'Alene. I don't have time for 2 cups of coffee, 2 hours. I don't have time for that. And I just can't drink that much coffee. Oh, and wait, this other couple, they just joined the mastermind that I'm a part of. And they live in Coeur d'Alene. That is 3 people that live in Coeur d'Alene that have suddenly entered into my life. So I decided, and this is where you decide and you take massive action and you let people be adults. And I said to each of them, I'm going to be down there. I'd like to meet with a few investors and I'd love to meet you. Would you like to come and join me for a cup of coffee at Whoops? Whoops, if you didn't already know from past episodes, is one of my favorite. Actually, it is my hands down favorite bakery down in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. You can actually order online, and Shelly, the owner, is just magnificent. She's such a gem and her staff is awesome. And the food is even more extraordinary than ever. All this to say, yes, you can't get anything that it all tastes delicious and magical. So guess what? All of these people were like, yeah, let's meet up. And so we all meet at Whoops. And as I'm waiting for a couple people to come in, there's this mom with a child in her arms, a young child. And I just like, she just had a very warm expression on her face. As I just started talking with her. I do this quite a bit. I talk to strangers because guess what? Strangers aren't strangers. It turns out that this random woman who's just standing there is also in real estate investing. She wasn't planning on coming to Whoops that afternoon. She just felt like, I just need to go to Whoops. I know it is the best bakery and everything like that, but she was actually, I mean, she has a young child. So she said, I felt like I'm supposed to come here. And she ends up, I said, well, you should join us. You should just hang out with us. Turns into this absolutely cool conversation about real estate investing, about the challenges in the market, about other things that we're overcoming, things that we're successful with, things that we're anticipating, things that we're excited about. It was a fantastic conversation. But where did that conversation begin? It began in taking a risk. It began when I risked giving my phone number out on one of the, probably the most listened to apartment investing podcast. So I took a risk. And then Joe took a risk in reaching out to me, but she actually took me up. She actually made that phone call or the text, right? And started communication with me. I took a risk and sent out a message to people that I'd just become connected with, but didn't really know. They took a risk in coming. I took a risk in talking to a stranger. And she took a risk in responding. And actually, it turns into this beautiful opportunity for other people to connect. You see, everything that we need is just one or two people away. But as one of my really close friends, who is what I call a growth friend, she told me this past weekend at our growth day that we did just as a core group of us. And she's like, closed mouths don't get fed. Are you being a closed mouth? Are you not willing to take that risk? Because that risk is just coming from some displaced fear, something in your head telling you, oh, no, you shouldn't do this. Why not? I want to give you this encouragement. As you have that, as you face those moments where you feel uncomfortable, pause. Pause in that discomfort, sit in that discomfort and see it as a red flag of sorts that's saying, this right here is where I need to start mining because there's something down here that I need to extract. There is something that's holding me back. Why wouldn't I want to do that? Why wouldn't I want to go meet with other people that I'm acquainted with who are real estate investors? Those are people I want to get to know. Okay, so as you are going about 2023, every time you start to get that feeling of discomfort, just pause, sit with it, and ask yourself, why am I feeling this way? Is this conditioning that was woven into my life from when I was a child? Is this a fear from something I face as an adult that I need to deal with? Is this just me tripping over myself? There's so many more reasons that it could be. But I want to encourage you. Opportunities are endless. Opportunity abounds. And people are absolutely amazing. And as you start being your more authentic version of yourself, as you start kind of plucking out these thorns that are preventing you, well, they're holding you in discomfort. Let's just pause there. If you had a thorn in you, you would pull it out. I know I get splinters when I, get firewood and such. Sometimes I'll get a little splinter and they're just annoying, right? And you just want to get it out because you just bump it and it's like, what is that? Why don't we do that with the things that are hindering us in our life? It's a good point. So I'll tell you what, as you go about your week, look for the areas that are holding you back. Look for those thorns in your life. Look for the areas that are preventing you from being more you because you're so busy trying to protect it. You're amazing, conscious investor. I hope that this gives you a lot to think about, and I hope that your discoveries over the next week are absolutely powerful. Until next time, live big, love bigger, and do great things. Are you enjoying this episode? Do the world a favor and help trip the algorithm by leaving a review so that this content reaches many others.